Hi everyone, I just want to take a few moments to talk to you a bit about fasting. Fasting is something that Jesus talks about in the scriptures and the Gospels. He says when you fast, he assumes that his disciples will fast in Matthew 6. And he encourages us to do it not in a kind of a big fanfare way that makes a big deal to everyone around us that we're fasting, but in a way that really just presses in to God. And so it's between you and God how you fast and what you choose to fast from. I want to just explain some of the things that I've found helpful, that I've learned from others over the years. I mean, for starters, fasting is particularly in the Bible focused about sort of not eating. And fasting from food. Now, there are times for medical reasons when you're unable to do that, and if that's the case for you, then please don't fast from food. Maybe find something else to fast for. Sometimes people fast from things like social media or from TV or from alcohol. But when the Bible talks about fasting, it is usually to do with fasting from food. And one of the things I've learned over the years is just to start with just trying to fast for one meal, and maybe even to do that on a regular basis, to try and once a week try and say, right, one meal, I'm going to miss that meal so I can press into God for prayer. Often what happens is that's the day where you get a bit more hungry, and that can be a good motivation to say, God, I'm hungry for you, and I'm hungry for you to work and help me in some area of need. But in these kind of prolonged times of fasting, maybe a week of fasting or something like that, sometimes it can be great to say, okay, I'm going to take the same sort of meal each week and I'm going to skip that, or even to say I'm going to take a whole day or a number of days where I'm going to try not to eat. And when I'm doing that, I've found from others that it's really helpful to know that as we don't eat food, we can though still keep drinking drinks, particularly water, but also you might find it helpful to have some sugary drinks. I've sometimes found juices or hot sugary cups of tea really have helped me through those kind of days, and even milkshakes and things like that. And that can help us just practically as we go through those times. And it does really help to remember why we're doing it, to kind of have some things that we're saying, God, these are the things I'm crying out to you for as I'm fasting. I want to be closer to you. As we're coming into this time of a week of prayer and fasting, I'll be sharing some things that I particularly think we could be praying for as a church in this time. But you personally might have even a much longer list. I know people who've sometimes gone into a time of prayer and fasting and written kind of 20, 30 or 50 things that they just think, God, I'd love you to do these things. And they're kind of bringing them to the Lord during that time of prayer and fasting. So why not do that as you come into this week? Just scribble down some things. Say, God, I would love to be bringing these things before you in this time of prayer and fasting. And of course, above all else, let's remember that this is not something that means that God owes us anything. God doesn't owe us anything. It's all of his grace. This is simply us just coming and saying, God, we need you. We need you even more than our next meal, even more than food. We need you, God, and we're hungry for you. May our souls and hearts, above all else, be satisfied in you. You know, Jesus said in a time when he was doing himself a fast, he said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. So as you fast, dig into his word. Let it nourish your soul and heart. And I pray that God will really bless you and work through you and through your prayers through this time of prayer and fasting. Thanks, everyone.